This is a recap on American Psycho. Enjoy. The film starts with Patrick Bateman, an effective New York City speculation investor who pays incredible regard for the nature of his life in pictures. Patrick's morning begins with an exercise, a different shower, and numerous systems to get to the next level his appearance. Then, at that point, he goes to work, where he anticipates that everything should be great, an optimal office, an eminent secretary, furthermore, an ideal work environment. In a club, a youth moves toward the bar and orders, grinning pleasantly at the barkeep. Patrick says horrendous words that go unheard. He praises his secretary Jean, yet rapidly offers her guidance on how to dress to look shockingly better. At night, he goes to an eatery with his life partner, Evelyn Williams, who continues to talk about her arrangements for a party. However, he isn't intrigued, and peevishly requests that she stop. At the eatery, the couple partakes in the organization of their companions. Furthermore, Patrick occasionally visits his old associate, Courtney, who is continually consuming hard medications. In the wake of pulling out cash from an ATM, Patrick hears a jingle of heels behind him and pursues after a bystander. The lady cautiously notices the man and values his costly picture. In the first part of the day, the finance manager causes a situation at the clothing where they haven't washed his #1 costly sheets with colossal red stains. At the point when gotten some information about those stains, the man answers that he spilled red juice. Patrick needs to leave rapidly, in light of the fact that the discussion is becoming awkward for him. Afterward, Patrick calls Courtney and welcomes her out on the town to the most popular cafe around, Dorsia, and the lady promptly acknowledges. He attempts to book a table for the following day there, however clearly comes up short. The following night, he takes her to a cafe that is in Dorsia, yet she is so high, she doesn't actually acknowledge it. Patrick's next working day starts with a conference in a gathering room. His partner Paul Allen approaches him and starts a discussion, from which it is clear he mistook the hero for one more associate of his. Patrick doesn't call attention to this and keeps on responding to his inquiries in the interest of Marcus. In the wake of closing their business, the men assemble, flaunting about their business cards. In any case, Patrick is just keen on one card, Paul Allen's, since that is the one where he sees a genuine opponent. Patrick remains late working and doesn't call the driver, yet chooses to stroll through a dull back street. Seeing a vagrant on the container, the finance manager first hands him cash, then, at that point, expresses terrible things as far as he might be concerned, and kills him with a folding knife from his satchel. In the first part of the day, lying on the back rub table, the man is absolutely apathetic regarding the reality that he ended somebody's life yesterday. At a Christmas celebration, Patrick welcomes Paul Allen to supper, while never conceding he isn't Marcus. The two consent to meet, and presently, Evelyn asks her lucky man for what valid reason his companion calls him by an alternate name. However, Patrick doesn't reply. He meets Paul in an eatery, and they discuss young lady. The hero draws him home, subsequent to getting him tanked. In Patrick's condo, everything is prepared, the whole floor is covered with papers, also, the furniture is covered. He wears an overcoat and gets an extremely enormous hatchet. Alan lacks opportunity and energy to comprehend what's going on, and Patrick ends his life, dissipating red drops all around the condo. He quietly hauls him to his vehicle, leaving impressions on the floor. Then, at that point, he goes to the casualty's condo, and subsequent to placing a portion of his effects in a bag, records a message on his better half's replying mail, expressing he needs to go to London for some time. Investigator Kimball appears at Patrick's office and asks him a few inquiries of concern. However, Kimball neglects to track down anything dubious about him. At night, Patrick goes to a terrible area and welcomes a young lady, Christy, to his home. On the way, the man books one more young lady for the night, Sabrina, this time somewhat more modern, it be a blonde to ask she. When he gets back with the young ladies, he offers them costly wine, sets up the camera, and requests that they start. The man watches with interest, and after some time, joins the young ladies in appreciating his body furthermore, capacities in a huge mirror. However, when they awaken, the person doesn't let them go. He opens a cabinet, and takes out certain instruments. A couple of hours after the fact, he pays and lets them go. However, numerous hints of brutality stay on their bodies. The partners accumulate again at the cafe, and discuss ladies and the reality they have no characters. Patrick discusses terrible things, citing a chronic executioner who pondered, what might a young lady's head seem to be on a stick? Luis, one of the partners, moves toward the gathering and shows his business card, which is commonly better than even Paul's, and this drives Patrick extremely mad. He follows his companion into the washroom, wearing gloves, however neglects to kill him, on the grounds that Luis sees the move as a smidgen of closeness and doesn't withdraw. Patrick, irate, surges out of the cafe without expressing farewell to anybody. Investigator Kimball gets back to the workplace and asks Patrick where he was upon the arrival of Paul's disappearance. In any case, Patrick is befuddled and vows to give a more clear response later, welcoming him to supper. After work, he goes to Courtney's home and puts in a couple of personal minutes with her. From that point forward, he goes directly to a club, gets a wonderful blonde model, and takes her home. Toward the beginning of the day at work, he folds a lock of her hair over his finger. Following a night at the club, the man has a cerebral pain and dark circles under his eyes, so he remains in shades the entire day and simply does crossword puzzles. At the point when Jean enters the workplace, the manager out of the blue requests that she go out with him to the most well-known, what's more, sumptuous spot around, Dorsia. He professes to reserve a spot, which causes the young lady to respect the manager significantly more, who, prior to going to the cafe, he takes the secretary to his home, clearly so they can spruce up and go together. A clueless Jean educates her supervisor regarding her fantasies and life plans, giving no consideration to the manner in which he circumvents her, picking what direction to kill her. He adopts a drill and strategies the secretary from behind, yet all at once the telephone rings. What's more, Courtney carries the man to his faculties with her consistent whimpering. Patrick requests that the young lady leave right away, so as not to hurt her. Jean doesn't understand she was going to be killed and leaves. Patrick meets the analyst in a cafe, who again gets some information about his vindication. Kimball figures Paul will be back sometime, and Patrick's face is covered with sweat. It is difficult to tell whether he is more stressed over being gotten, or that his wrongdoing will never be tackled. At night, Patrick gets back to where he has of late purchased Christie's administrations, furthermore, welcomes the young lady home. The young lady is enticed by the enormous amount of cash the finance manager guarantees her, and goes with him. Other than Christy, this time he welcomes another young lady, Elizabeth, who has long longed for closeness with him. During the cycle, Christy quickly jumps all over the opportunity, and subsequent to taking her things, attempts to leave discreetly before the show's subsequent part starts. Christy surges out of the condo and opens an endless series of entryways, progressively panicking. She at long last figures out how to get away when Patrick attempts to pursue her with the trimming tool. The young lady beats on entryways and shouts at the entry, yet nobody responds. She figures out how to arrive at the steps and rapidly plummets. Yet Patrick tosses the running trimming tool into the way, and it lands right on top of the person in question. He severs his commitment with Evelyn, who starts whimpering in an eatery, while he draws an image of the young lady with the trimming tool on a napkin. Leaving the cafe, the man goes to an ATM to pull out cash that shows the text, "Feed me a homeless feline," so he plans to shoot the feline. Seeing this, a passing old woman shouts and turns into a casualty herself. Hearing the sound of squad cars, Patrick attempts to get away and kills everybody in his way, including janitors, neighbors, and cops. At long last arriving at his loft, he leaves an admission on his regulation, relating all that he has depended on of late and carefully describing the situation, how and what he ate from his 20 to 40 casualties. Nobody comes searching for the peculiar financial specialist around evening time, so he approaches his typical daily schedule in the first part of the day, picking a superior suit. Putting on his cover, he initially goes to Paul's loft and tracks down a realtor with purchasers there. Glancing through the rooms and storerooms, the man finds no hint of what was there and asks the real estate agent how this is conceivable, after which she throws him out, shouting she doesn't need any difficulty. Subsequent to taking a few pills, Patrick calls Jean and tells her he isn't coming to the workplace today. The person talks too wildly and affronts her multiple times, which makes her dubious. In the wake of hanging up, she goes to the manager's office and takes out the diary with many terrifying drawings. Patrick goes to the eatery where his companions and associates have accumulated.